Well, Nikki, we're hearing this morning that banks have been approached to discuss an IPO of Chrysler. IPO is obviously a big theme of the moment. Are we going to see Chrysler come into the market?
Ooh, that's a good question. In theory, yes, they're pitching for the IPO listing, which in theory could take place in the third quarter of this year. But it's very much, the reason for this is to try and settle a valuation dispute between the UAW Healthcare Trust that owns 41.5% of Chrysler and Fiat, which owns the other 58.5% and wants to buy more, and it has an option to do so over the next few years in a series of blocks. But the two can't agree on price, and I mean, according to court filings, they're reportedly way apart. The trust sort of saying Chrysler's worth 10 billion plus, and Fiat saying no, 4 billion or thereabouts.
That's a big gap. Why is Fiat so keen to get its hands on the rest of Chrysler?
Well, Fiat has big problems with its own European business that's very exposed to the volume car market. Chrysler is essentially bailing it out at the moment in operating profit terms. That's where all the money is coming from. Its own operations are made a loss last year. So it's a nice asset if you can get hold of it at the right price, and it's done very well out of the bit that it does have.
Why is such a big gap in the valuations of this company? There are lots of car companies floated on the market. Is it not possible to come to a comparison with those companies?
Well, you would think so, and one suspects that's how the market will approach it. The fine print of the legal agreement seems to suggest that the exercise price on the option should be related to Fiat's own rating. Now, that's pretty low for the obvious reasons. It's a volume car maker heavily exposed to Europe, which is dreadful at the moment. If you start doing the sums on using US peers, GM, Ford is much higher, or even someone like Volkswagen, you start getting numbers much closer to the trust's estimate.
And if they can agree a price, is Fiat in a financial position to be able to afford to buy the rest of Chrysler?
Well, it sort of says that it's talking to its banks and yes, about a financing package and makes fairly encouraging noises about all of that. And one assumes it would really want this, so it will make every effort to try and buy it. But I mean, it has its own net industrial debt is of the order of 6 billion plus, and it also has quite a heavy investment program to fund over the next few years. So its hand is very constrained. It's quite an interesting standoff.
It is. No surprise, really, I suppose, that bankers are swarming all over the situation, probably eyeing fees everywhere within this. I guess there's months of hard bargaining to come. And Nikki, thanks very much.